Right, guys, what is up? What is up? Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Breakfast with the Brand, the number one podcast in the world for entrepreneurs and leaders who want to take their brands to the next level. I am your host, Junior Frederick, and I have with me Mr. Bobby Stealth. And today is a phenomenal, phenomenal Saturday. Guys, we're about to get into it, but put it in the chat. Where are you listening in from, and what is the energy like? Shout out to Bradley. Bobby, what's up?
Not much, Junior. I'm feeling absolutely amazing, phenomenal, happy to be alive. I know what you say a lot of times. You're like, any day above ground is a good day. Any day above ground is a good day. And my closest friend, he shared something with me yesterday that really struck me. He was like, actually, I'm gonna share you a quick story, guys. Very, very quick story. So we're in the military. He's still in the military. So he's still crushing it, still got Marines under his charge. And he was telling me about a particular Marine that had a degree. Now, this is not uncommon for officers. Officers actually have to have a degree to come in as officers. However, if you are enlisted, you don't have to have a degree. So this enlisted service member had a degree and was crushing it. Super intelligent, very aggressive female Marine. Now, after say a month or two, they got accustomed. They got accustomed to her excellence. They got accustomed to her level of execution. And then it became normalized. I'm going somewhere with this morning. Going somewhere. Her greatness became normalized. So then someone came in, no degree, mediocre, but exceeded expectation. They just exceeded expectation. And then they were looked at and praised for all that they did. And what the moral of the story was that the great individual got marginalized because consistency, repetition, execution at the highest level, when you don't miss a beat, becomes normal. It becomes expected. It becomes underappreciated at times. And sometimes in life, we can look at how great things are for us. And because they're great for us all the time, we can kind of lose appreciation for them, much like they lost appreciation for that Marine, that female Marine that was crushing it. And then we'll praise something small because it exceeded expectation when it really wasn't even nothing that big. But it was like we're giving all this focus to this thing. Maybe like a new episode of our favorite show comes out. Like that's small. But we're like, whoa, this new episode just came out where we woke up this morning and that's great. We got air in our lungs, which is amazing. And we didn't even notice. Incredible. So I'm feeling absolutely amazing.
Yeah, that just feeds into the power of perspective. The power of perspective. I could remember the first time. I'll share a quick story as well. I remember the first time I came to America. All right, the first time I came to America, that was back in 2008. I could remember very clearly. That was Obama. Obama was running during that time, and I came to New York first. Bobby, I remember the first time I set foot in Manhattan. Okay, I could remember coming out of the train station. By the way, this is completely magical to me, guys. I hope you know this. Like, all of this walking on the ground and to see all of there were a lot of paintings, like all around the train station and stuff like that. That was pretty magical to me at the time, because we don't have that where I'm from. So I'm like, this is pretty nice, and everybody was making money. Bro, the first thing I realized when I got to Manhattan was everything just felt like money. Like everywhere I walk, it's like ching, ching, ching. I'm like, how are people broke in this country? It's not possible to be broke in this country. For real, because it's like I said, I bet if I put like an ice cream stand on one of these corners, I bet I could make $1 million a year if an ice cream stand or selling like hot dogs or something like that. It absolutely blew my mind. And then I got to see, okay, this is what the American dream is. This is what it's like. It's like having the opportunity to compete and to to just be the best and to exist and to create your dreams, you know?
Hmm.
That's like that little thing. A lot of people take that for granted. That's not, believe it or not, that's not the same in every country around the world. That is not the same way. So I can definitely appreciate the power of perspective and coming to America, seeing the way things were, seeing all of the amazing buildings, the glass, the I'd never seen like a 100-story building before. It was pretty crazy, pretty crazy. But everything felt a little bit better just being there, you know? It felt like opportunity. And I think opportunity is what a lot of people take for granted.
Yeah.
Is what a lot of people take for granted. So, Bobby, the power of perspective is really something. I've seen people take bus shelters and transform them into homes. I've seen a lot of stuff. I've seen people take literally like a bus shelter, board it up, okay, put like a refrigerator door. A door from like a refrigerator is like the door that they use to enter their house. Well, to enter the bus shelter, and that's like their house. So I've seen a lot of stuff. So guys, don't take perspective is absolutely crazy. It is actually, I was writing down something today, something to talk about. I wrote down the 5 keys to creating a magnetic leadership brand. So the 5 keys to create a magnetic leadership brand. And I just wrote that down. And number 4 is mindset. Mindset, aka perspective. Now, hopefully, we'll get into that when we come back from the break. But Bobby, I really love what you said because that's so true. Sometimes when you execute at the highest level, you tend to make it look easy, but trust me, it's not easy. It's really, really not easy. Now, guys, before we go to the first break, I just want to put this out early. I'm going to put this link here today at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the Leadership Live Deep Dive at 5. What is the Leadership Live Deep Dive at 5? About 4 years ago, we all know what happened 4 years ago, okay? No need to say the name. Something terrible happened, okay? And the world shifted. The entire world shifted. During that period of time, one person from New York, there you go, New York again, right? One person from New York, Harlem to be more specific, decided to pick up his phone and go live. And he decided to bring a new face of leadership to the world. That new face of leadership was able to help a lot of people during that time when we didn't know if the world would exist. That one life transformed into several lives that we did periodically every Saturday at 5 p.m. And we call it the Leadership Live Deep Dive at 5, meant for leaders who want to basically take their brands to the next level. But it's not even about branding, funny enough. It's about creating your ideal life. It's about uncovering your dreams. It's about doing stuff that you always knew you could do, but you never had the courage to do, but you never had the knowledge to do, but you never had the coaching and the guidance to do. The Leadership Live Deep Dive at 5 is your key. And by the way, it's 100% free of charge. It is your key to get direct mentorship from Mr. Shaan Raiz as he shares his journey, he shares his path, and he shares the knowledge and the information that he's gained from literally the 0.01% in our industry. And I mean everybody that you can possibly think of, from 7 figures to 8 figures to 9 figures and to 10 figures. So if you're interested in creating a new future for yourself and for your family, today, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The link is right there. We'll be putting the link in the chat. But definitely, guys, check it out, Leadership Live Deep Dive at 5, and also invite anybody else that you know that you feel could benefit from the information. We'll be right back after this quick break. Stay tuned. Let's go.
There's slow growth and then there's scale. There's incremental growth and then there's exponential growth. What I want to talk to you about is adding a zero to you and experiencing exponential scale. Incremental growth says 1 plus 1 is 2. Exponential growth says 1 plus 0 is 10. Incremental growth says 2 plus 2 is 4. Exponential growth says 5 plus 0 is 50. Guys, listen, when you add a zero to you, you can add a zero to the marketplace. You can add a zero to the value that you bring. So you can add a zero to your family, add a zero to your legacy. This is what we're talking about. We're not talking about incremental, we're talking about exponential. I always say that business is a spiritual game. Just imagine when you combine your skills, your values, your abilities, your talents to something bigger than you, something greater than you, something like the power of exponential. That is adding a zero. Add a zero to your competence, add a zero to your confidence. This is about adding a zero in your life, your value, your industry, and your mission. Let's grow. It's very important that you know yourself to the highest degree possible, because it's through knowing ourselves that we're able to know other people. You are the most important person in the room, and the better that you know yourself, the better that you're able to communicate to others. So you're not only playing the game knowing who you are, but you're also playing the game knowing who everyone else is, so that you're not playing blind.
He's extremely engaging with people. He has a fantastic smile, and he's just a very high energy person.
This is called leadership development. So we have to be independently knowledgeable and considerate to know who we are, so we can more effectively know who other people are. As the leader, it's your responsibility to allocate resources in the right places. If you don't know how to communicate effectively, you're losing the battle.
All right, guys, so we're back and we're talking about the 5 keys to creating a magnetic leadership brand. Now, just like Shaan said in the last ad that we just ran, if you don't know how to communicate effectively, you're essentially losing the battle. So check this out. So number 1, I'm just going to be reading these out. Please write this down. Remember, whatever's written will be retained. So let's write this down. So number 1, who are you talking to? So who are you communicating with? That is the market. Okay, so the market. What is the market? The market is the market is the market. Now, I've worked with literally hundreds of entrepreneurs at this point, one-on-one. I mean, one-on-one, not even from the lives. We don't know how many people we've helped from lives, going live, stuff like that. But I've spoken one-on-one at this point with literally hundreds of entrepreneurs that want to grow a business. And the number one thing that I see, Bobby, when it comes to entrepreneurs not being able to craft and create that magnetic leadership brand is actually them not having clarity on who the ideal client is. Cannot stress this enough. The first key, or the first M, because I have 5 M's. I should have said 5 M's. So 5 M's to creating a magnetic leadership brand. M number 1 is actually the market. So what is the market? The market is the specific target population that you would like to talk to. So who is that person for you? Now, it's a fact that most ads today, they're not good. Okay, and the reason why they're not good is because they're not talking to a specific person. Now, if you have a business, let's just imagine a business as a concert. Let's just imagine like Facebook and all this stuff, Facebook, LinkedIn, all of this stuff, social media as just like this big concert. Okay, Bobby? If you go to a concert and you're looking to sell something or you're looking to call somebody out, what's the first thing you have to do? Well, in a crowd, if you want to call somebody out, you get on the megaphone and then you say their name. Okay? So you want to say their name. So who is the specific population that you want to target? How do they identify themselves? What is the keyword? And I always do the Google test. If you have to go into Google right now, okay, and you have to type in the keyword for that specific population, what would you type? If you don't know what that is, you don't know what the population is. You don't know what the market is. and you don't have the first M when it comes to creating a magnetic leadership brand. So, what are your thoughts on this, Bobby? What is your interpretation of this from your own marketing? Because I mean, you obviously you market your business. How important has it been, or how tricky has it been getting that first M down, which is the market?
It's very interesting because markets are complex. They're complex because they have this thing called taste. They have this thing called surplus. And we're not going to go too deep. They have this thing called elasticity. All of these things are actually market forces. So it's really interesting to pin this stuff down because market taste means that the market at one point, so when you remember the first phones, so you weren't here in the US, Junior, so this might not apply to you as easily, but most of our viewers will know exactly what I'm talking about. In the US, when the first phones came out, we had Nokia. Nokia was the block phone. It looked like a rectangle. And then we had the flip phone. The flip phone closed and then it flipped open. And then we had the sidekick, which slid up and you had the full keyboard. And then we had the Razor, which was a very thin, easy, portable phone. So that was kind of like a phone lineage, so to speak. And it all happened in about less than 3 to 4 years. That's called market taste. So the taste in the market changed, but their desire for communicating via wireless device did not. So one of the things that's tricky about being in the market is understanding the taste of the market, understanding what they want, and then anticipating that. That's been interesting for me too. So I'll give a little insight on that. So guys, as you're watching this, understand that you might be doing the right thing, but you're doing it with the wrong flavor. Imagine that. Imagine cooking wings and they're like, oh, I want wings. I love wings, but you're making buffalo wings when they want lemon pepper. It's like you're doing everything right, frying it right, breading it right, letting it sit, marketing it right. Everything's right, but the flavor, and they won't buy it. So that's one thing, market taste. Another thing is market forces, such as elasticity and inelasticity. So this often has to do with like price. So when you're trying to figure out who you sell to, you want to sell to the market that is more inelastic. You want to sell a product rather that is as inelastic as possible. So for example, if you are a mother of a newborn baby, then the prices for diapers are what we would call inelastic. Elasticity means they're stretchable, they're changeable, they're easily changed. If you are a mother with an infant, is it optional for you to change that child's diaper? It's not optional. If they're wearing diapers, you've got to change them. And if you've got to change them, that means that you've got to buy diapers. And if the diaper industry comes together and says, hey, these people are having way too many babies right now. Margins are getting a little tight. Let's increase the prices. They increase the prices by $5. $5. Guess what? You still got to pay it because it's inelastic. You can't go anywhere else. You what are you going to do? Not change your baby? Absolutely not. You're going to change the child. So because you have to change the child, that means the price is inelastic, not elastic. So really understanding how to create a product that shows up in the ideal client's life. Now, parents aren't parents of infants forever, right? So that means eventually that price becomes less and less inelastic and becomes more elastic as the necessity for that thing reduces. So understanding that fundamentally in business was something that I took seriously. So I created products that showed up in my ideal client's life very inelastically, and that was built into their business's development for at least 2 to 3 years so that I could build out 2 and 3 year contracts and close strategic deals by knowing who I was talking to. So that's my perspective.
Yes, sir. So Bobby gave us the economic perspective. Bobby, as I'm listening to you speak, I'm thinking back a couple years ago. Economics used to actually be one of my favorite subjects in school.
Really.
I used to love I love economics. I didn't like accounting though, not so
Hmm.
much, but I loved economics, and I'm thinking that's so true. And economics to me is sort of like understanding how people's brains work on a macro level. Like if you could read the market, you could basically read what people think. Like the stock market tells you the general consensus of what America thinks. If you want to know what America thinks, just look at the stock market because it normally shows up there, right? But let's move on to number two. So number two, the second M is after you've established the market, meaning that you know who you're targeting. Number two is what is the message? Now, the message is one of my favorite things. Okay, guys, you know me, I started as a copywriter. Copywriting basically means crafting a message that is sort of magnetic. You want to craft a message that when somebody reads it, they say to themselves, where has this person been my entire life? I could remember in Marketing Like a Leader, Shaan spoke about crafting a love letter to your ideal client. So, how many of you are old enough to remember love letters? I believe everybody here should be able to remember that, right? And most of us have written love letters, right? We've written love letters. Hopefully, you've done that. So, if you're writing a love letter, man, you're putting your all into that, right, Bobby? You're putting your all, and you're really trying to paint the picture. So, write this down. Write down, paint a picture, because realistically, that's what you're doing. I want you to imagine you're operating in a sea of noise. Okay, you're operating in a sea of noise, which means that you have literally 1 to 3 seconds, in fact less, to capture the attention of your ideal client. So what are you going to do? You're going to write in a way that creates a mental image in the mind of the person. Remember, Bobby, when you're talking to someone, what do they say? When they understand you, what do they say? They say, oh, I see what you mean. Okay, write that down. They say, I see what you mean, meaning that they can visually see what it is that you're talking about. A master copywriter understands that the message is not truly about the words. The message is about the mental image that you craft in the mind of the ideal client with the words. So you're literally an artist. You're an artist and you're painting pictures. Now, I want to introduce something to you. A very simple way to do this is called a schema. What is a schema? A schema is a set of predetermined images that's already in the mind of your ideal client. If you can tap into what they're already thinking, you can create that mental image in shorter and shorter and shorter sentences. Now, going back to the train station example, Bobby, I could remember um, riding the train in Manhattan and stuff like that. And I remember, and if you've ever, ridden on any train, you often see like posters and stuff like that, right? Now, a lot of these posters, they literally have like 5 words. It's like bam, 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 bam. Now, think of it. Why does that work? In 5 words, being able to communicate a mental image in the mind of the audience is what they're doing. So they're saying something that's allowing you to think about something that you're already thinking about. So I'll give you an example. Let's say I'm marketing St. Lucia, which is where I'm from. Lovely island, amazing island. We just had carnival, by the way. We had a lot of celebrities come here for the carnival. So let's say I'm marketing St. Lucia and I'm marketing to retirees, retirees with the desire to travel the world and go to remote destinations. Let's just say that's my market. So that's my market, number one. Then I have to say, okay, what would my message be? Well, the message is gonna basically speak to a secret desire or a pain. So write down desire or pain. Okay, so remember, I'm marketing to retirees with the desire to travel the world and see tropical destinations. So my marketing message doesn't have to be long. it just has to be something like this. So let's say I'm marketing at a specific time of year, maybe in the winter. I could say something like escape the cold in a tropical paradise. Escape the cold with tropical paradise. Okay, so put it in the chat. How many of you saw a mental image when I said that? And by the way, I haven't written this stuff down. I'm just coming from the top of my mind. So escape the frigid cold or escape the cold in a lush tropical paradise. When I say lush tropical paradise, what do you think of? What do you think of, Bobby?
Yeah.
When I say escape the cold with a lush tropical paradise, what mental images do you see? Because I see a lot of mental images when I
Yeah.
see that.
I see sand for sure. I see palm trees. I see people walking around feeling good. They're tanning. They're like confident in themselves. Like they've been working out for all year to show up right now and look as good as they possibly can. So I kind of just see confident people walking around uh, with displaying their hard work. So that's great too. And I feel something too. It feels like it's a warm environment. That's what I would see. Sand, people, confidence, nice warm environment, palm trees, and sand.
Exactly. Exactly. So that's the mental image I want to create. Now put it in the chat, guys. What is the mental image that you see when I say something like that? So what is the mental image that you see when I say something like that? When I say escape the cold. Now remember, I'm marketing during the winter. So I'm marketing literally to people. They might have their snow gloves on, they might have the hoodie on, right? They might have the scarf and all that. And I'm saying escape the cold. Notice the words that I'm using. I'm using the word escape. Escape. So in copy, we call that a trigger word. A trigger word is a word that triggers an emotion. Now, here's another tip. Use sensory language when you communicate. So you want to talk about the way things feel, talk about the way things smell, the way they taste, the way they sound, and the way they look. Once you create those, or once you use those sensory language tips, you start to create mental images in the mind of the audience. Okay, so number three, so assuming that you have, oh, by the way, let me read this. So Bradley sees sunset on the horizon over the water on the beach relaxing. There you go. There you go. Exactly. Now when I say that I see lush, lush to me means green. I see a lot of green vegetation. I see palm trees. I see hotels. I see white sand. I see beaches. And that's what we have there, right? So let's go to number three. So number three, the third M is media. So what is media? Media means what is the platform that you're gonna talk to your audience on? So now that you know who they are, now that you know what the message is supposed to be, where are you going to get them? Where are you going to find these people? That is the media. And that could either be nowadays social media. Nowadays, everybody's on social media. Okay. Literally everyone. I have an aunt. My aunt is like 70, almost 80, and she's on social media. Everybody's on social media, all ages, all demographics, literally everyone. So the key is how can you find the right platform where they exist? And how can you position yourself on that platform so that you can circumvent search? What does it mean to circumvent search? It means that when somebody is looking for something, you're the first one that pops up because you have the right keywords and you have the right messaging. So that's number three. Now, before we go to number four, Bobby, we're going to go to a short break. But when we come back, guys, we're going to go to number four and definitely number five. I already gave you number four. Number five is a tip. It is a bonus, so you don't want to miss it. Okay. This is the thing that most people lack when it comes to marketing. And I'm going to talk about it when we come back from this quick break. Stay tuned. Let's grow.
Custom Model used to spit out numbers, and Mike Tyson would throw a combination and always knock out his enemy. When Mike Tyson lost Custom Model, he lost the title. Shaan Rais is your Custom Model, your Tyson. What I'm gonna give you is a marketing system that's gonna knock your competition out. So the 501 marketing system is a combination: jab, 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 uppercut, hook. I'm gonna teach you how to give, surprise your ideal client, and then ask for the value that you're worth, and you're gonna get it every single time. I'm gonna teach you how to communicate in a crowded space, in your client's language that's gonna slice through the noise in the market and touch their inner souls and make them open their wallets. It is said that marketing is helping your ideal client open their wallet and take their money out. I'm gonna show you how to do this in 5 simple steps. Confidence is key. Most of the people I work with, they have the education, the experience, and the expertise. We call those the 3 E's. But they're looking for the 3 I's: the income, the impact, and the independence. And I always tell them that the bridge between the 3 E's and the 3 I's is marrying your confidence to your competence. Most of the people I work with, again, have all of the competence in the world. What I help them do is get the confidence.
All right, guys, welcome back. We're talking about the 5 M's. Okay, the 5 M's are the 5 keys to creating a magnetic leadership brand. So just to run through them quickly: number 1, we said the market. Number 2, the message. Number 3 is the media or the media platform. Okay, so what is number 4? Number 4 is the mindset. Bet you didn't see that one coming. The mindset. So what mindset am I talking about? Bobby, the mindset that I'm talking about is a mindset of numbers. So you have to fall in love with numbers. Most of us are not numbers people, I get it. But marketing is doing something, or in fact, getting to the audience in a measurable, so write this down: measurable, repeatable way. So it has to be measurable, meaning that you could measure it. It has to be repeatable, meaning that you could do it over and over again. It has to be trackable, meaning that you can track it. So you know that if I spend $1 on marketing, I can guarantee that I make $2 back. And you have to know on which channel are you making that money. It has to be evidence-based. Good marketing is evidence-based, but that all starts with the mindset of this, the mindset of numbers, the mindset of testing. In other words, if I'm doing marketing on social media, Bobby, I'm saying to myself, okay, how many posts do I need to put out per day? How many likes are these posts getting? How many of these likes are converting into leads? How many leads are converted into appointments? How many appointments are converted into sales? If you don't have that kind of mindset, you're literally just putting out content, and then you become a content creator, okay? And then you switch your business model to where either you're producing content for stars, or you're looking to monetize your channel via YouTube, but you're not doing real marketing. Does that make sense? Like, you're not putting out content with the specific intention of converting prospects into leads and leads into sales. That's called advertising. So advertising is the science of making known. If you're putting out content right now and you're not measuring that content, you're advertising, you're not marketing. Marketing has the mindset, okay? It has the specific mindset of, how can I track these numbers? How can I optimize these numbers? How can I increase these numbers so that I can get the specific result that I'm looking for? What are your thoughts on that, Bobby? I know you have a numbers background. Also, you have a sales background, and you know just how important numbers is when it comes to sales, when it comes to economics and stuff like that.
Yeah, this is really good because I can't remember who said it, but you want to get effective before you become efficient. I think it might have been one of our implementation strategists, Tyrus, and he's online, so you guys can find him. He doesn't hide, but I believe it was him who told me that you want to be effective before you start to become efficient. And what this makes me think about is like the numbers game and all of that stuff. Is most people don't have effective marketing. They are marketing, but it's not effective. And it's not effective because it's not achieving the objective, which is generating leads. Now, marketing is senior to the sale, but it's not necessarily sales or closing, it's marketing. So its job is to really generate qualified leads. And you know your marketing is broken if you're not generating leads, or the leads that you're generating are unqualified. And that's what a lot of times is happening. So what is the double whammy to this, or say the insult to injury, is people try to make something that is ineffective operate more efficiently. So they're really optimizing their ineffective results. So for instance, if you had an ineffective lead generation marketing campaign and you said, well, maybe the problem is I didn't get this in front of enough people. So then you go and you buy ads either on Google or on Facebook, and you pretty much poured gasoline on a broken model. And what ends up happening then is they get a lot more unqualified leads or no leads at all, and they just spend money. So my take on taking the numbers seriously, moving individuals from likes to appointments to sales, really generating leads in an effective manner before trying to get efficient or fancy, is really a matter of mindset. It's a matter of measuring what matters and repeating successful actions and understanding the numbers while you do it. And the last thing I'll say on this point is 100. That's something that you shared with me, Junior, is always use the number 100. And it resonated with me well because I do have a finance background, an accounting background, and we do a lot of percentages. That's how we measure a lot of things. So you can't measure percentages without 100%. So when he shared that information with me, saying, hey, do everything you can or measure everything you can in the size of 100 increments or units or what have you, that resonated really well. So I'm sharing that with you guys as a gift. Like if you're making 25 phone calls a day, go ahead and measure that every 4 days, or take inventory of what's going on every 4 days if you're doing XYZ 25 times a day. Ultimately, you don't want to try to extrapolate data without enough data. That's pretty much what I'm saying, is you don't want to have a small number of data and try to glean insights from it, because the data is oftentimes going to skew you due to probability alone. Like the bigger the number, the stronger the confidence interval. You can research that. I'm not going to go into that, but just research confidence interval when you're looking to do like data and research. And that will explain to you why bigger numbers are better in many cases, not necessarily all cases.
Yes, sir. Okay, guys. So let's go to the last one. So the last one is, and before I do this, let me just bring this up. So Dr. Katrina says marketing versus advertising. So yes, marketing and advertising is different. So advertising is the science of making known. So for example, if I had, I don't know, let's say like putting up a flyer. So remember back in the day, Bobby, people used to go and they used to put like flyers on like poles and stuff like that. Or maybe you used to print out cards and give them away, just give away business cards. Or maybe you go to the train station and then you put out like little leaflets, you put it on the seats, stuff like that. That's called advertising. That's called, making your service known. So taking like a radio ad, for example, is advertising. Taking like a television ad, that's advertising. So you're basically just raising brand awareness. You're making people aware of your business. You're making people know that you exist. That is called advertising. Here's the key now. Here's the difference between advertising and marketing. If you put a flyer, let's say you went all around America and you're putting like flyers in different train stations. So you putting it on in the train stations on the walls. You putting it inside the trains. You put it on the seats. And let's just say that when you get home the next day, somebody calls you. They say, "Hey, I saw your flyer." Maybe they don't even call you. Maybe they just scan the QR code. They go straight to your site and they buy something. My question to you would be, how would you know, okay, where that person saw the flyer, okay, what train did they see the flyer on, okay, what train station were they in, okay, how would you know? You wouldn't know. Same thing if somebody saw an ad on television and then they buy something, nobody knows where they came from. You don't know what state they were in when they saw it. You don't know if they were in the train station. You don't know if they were in the airport. You don't know where they were. You don't know if they were driving and they heard it or they saw it on their phone. You don't know. You don't know. And because you don't know, you cannot repeat successful action because you don't know where the money came from. It's not measurable. It's not trackable. It might be repeatable, but you would have to repeat the entire thing again. Hence why big companies keep putting out ads. So it's like I put out a big Nike ad, and I'm hoping that people just continue buying Nike. That's literally what the big companies are doing. They don't know that Junior saw an ad after a trip to New York. He was in New York, he saw the ad, he traveled to St. Lucia, and when he got to St. Lucia, he decided to go back on the Nike store and get the shoe that he saw. They don't know that. They're not tracking that. And that's the difference between marketing and advertising. So let's go. Number five now. So just to run through all four. So number one was the market. Number two was the message. Number three was the media. Number four was the mindset. And number five is this. Okay, write this down. Write this down. Right? Everybody write this down. Number five is the magic. Mm. So, what is the magic? Guys, let me tell you something. The magic is that indescribable thing that cannot be seen, it could only be felt. I want you to put it in the chat. The people that you follow, isn't there something about their content that you just find magnetic? Isn't there something about the content that you just find appealing? It's not something that you could really put into words. It's just something that you can feel when you come across the ad, when you come across the video, when you come across, you know, anything that they do, their content. It's that sort of magic. It's the magic, Bobby, that separates those big influencers from everybody else. We're talking about the really, really huge influencers. It's something that they just have. You know, it's like this, it's like that star power. You could tell when somebody has that star power, right? It's like when they walk onto the stage or when they step into the room, there's just something about them. It's like that guy, or that lady, like she's a star. There's just something about them. They just have that magnetic type feeling to them. That's called the magic. Your marketing needs magic. It needs that little bit of thing to give it the edge. And how do you create the magic? You create the magic by number one, being relatable. So it has to be relatable. But number two, it has to be what we call authentic. It has to be authentic. It has to be relatable. It has to be authentic. And number two, number three, in fact, it has to appeal to the desire of the audience. Now, I've managed to figure out this magic, Bobby, and I've managed to make it into a science. And the way that it works is literally when you're marketing to your ideal audience, they need to see a version of themselves in you. They need to be able to look at you and say to themselves, I want to be like this person. There's something about this person, okay, that I could see myself being like this person in the future. The person that you're following, all of the people that you're following, and somebody please check me in the comments, tell me if I'm wrong. Whether you follow Tony Robbins, Grant Cardone, Sean Raiz, whoever it is that you follow, there's something about that person that you aspire to be like. There's some characteristic about them that you like, and you would like to take it and make it your own. So when you look at them, you can see yourself in them, but for them, they represent a greater version of yourself. For you, they represent an a human sort of outward appearance or manifestation of your potential. If you could see your potential being acted out in another human being, that person becomes magnetic. So if you're building a personal brand, which you should, my question to you is, how are you capturing the future version of your ideal audience in your marketing? How can you put forth that image or that, sort of that mental creation, that version of you or that version of them that they aspire to be in the future, whether that's through speaking, whether that's through sales, whether that's through marketing, whether what it is. And Bob, it could be the simplest thing. It could just be like getting married. It could be you got married, you put it out on social media, and the person that you're talking to, they're thinking to themselves, hey, one day I really love to get married. Dr. Katrina got married, okay? And she put it out on social media. I could appeal to that. I could, because I want to be married myself. One day I'd love to be married. So I'm like, okay, if she can do it, then I can do it. And if she's living it, it means that she's living a version of reality that I would like to live. And that's how you create the magic. If you don't have no magic, then you don't have an audience because you don't have a following. So how are you crafting and creating that magic in your marketing?
Wow.
Okay. Um, yes, look at that. She says Oprah. Oprah says one for you, one. Man, let me tell you, that was an iconic moment, right? Oh man, would love to have been in that crowd, right? One for you, and one for you. Exactly, exactly. People love Oprah. Yep. All right, guys. So these are the five M's. So these are the five M's. Sort of go over it one more time. We had the market, we had the message, we had the media, we had the mindset, and then we had number five, which is the magic. Now, Bobby, as we are about to close, we're coming to the top of the hour. Is there anything that you want to leave the audience with before we sort of wrap up?
No, Junior. Only thing that I would say is write down a list of your top three to five influencers that you like, and then see if you can pinpoint that thing. That's what I'm doing. As I was listening to Junior, I was like, wow, that makes a lot of sense. And I was just writing it down. Like, guys, I take notes too. Like, don't think Junior's giving these gems away and I'm not picking up what's for me. I'm here, trying to get mine too. And one thing that I would recommend that you guys do that I'm doing right now is I wrote a list of my top 4 to 5 influencers that I watch almost religiously. Like if I see something pop up, it takes effort for me not to click on it if I'm doing something else. Like I'm talking about those guys. And I'm trying to see what exactly it is that they do that I find so appealing. And then I'm going to see about reverse engineering that for my own clients or my own audience, really saying, okay, I love that about them. What is it that my ideal client most likely loves about me? And then really kind of see how these influencers get this message across, this unhidden, or excuse me, this hidden, unspoken kind of feeling. And then really just play with it a bit. So that's what I would leave with you guys is you all know who that person is or who those people are. Take some time and kind of model yourself after them a bit until you figure out what that secret sauce is and then do it for yourself and for your audience.
Yes, sir. And guys, before we sign off, just want to say thank you for tuning in, this morning. This afternoon, Leadership Live Deep Dive at 5. Click the link below. In fact, just go to that link. I'm going to keep this up for a little while, but I'm also going to drop that link somewhere in the comments. 100% free of charge. Our only ask is that you share this with one other person that you think can benefit. That's literally the only ask. That's the price. So if there was a price to attend, the price is to bring a friend. That is the price. The price is to bring a friend. Oh, by the way, just so you know, we will be making, a very, very special offer to anybody who comes um, on the Leadership Live today. We have one of our flagship programs are literally like 92% off. Why 92% off? It's literally because it's in commemoration of the Leadership Live Deep Dive at 5, because that's literally what started the business. We want to give people the opportunity to start building their brands. And so that's why it is at 92% off only for today. Only for today. So if you know anybody that needs to start building a brand, they need somewhere to start, of course, the information there will be free. But after we deliver the information, there will also be a special offer for anybody who wants to take advantage of that. So thank you so much, guys. Have a phenomenal, phenomenal Saturday. I will see you later. If you need anything, just send me a text. The number is 646-259-3051. That's 646-259-3051. Have a phenomenal day. Speak soon and let's grow. Bye-bye.